Hey guys, so for this video, I'm going to show off 10 insanely useful and advanced tips and tricks. These will include new box fighting techniques, 200 IQ edit outplays, and even some crazy new ways to use proximity mines and C4. As per usual, the format remains the same. I'll show what the trick is, why it works, how to do it, and then an in-game example if applicable. So without further ado, let's start with one of the most effective box fighting moves in the game. Dubbed the Kylix Classic, you want to use this move when you're turtling inside a box and your opponent drops down on a ramp to try and replace your wall. Usually you would make a top right corner edit and take a shot, but nowadays most good players will expect that and pre-fire your edit. Therefore the solution is to make the same corner edit, place a floor, edit these 3 tiles of it so it looks like this, and then place a ramp. At full speed it should be one quick and smooth move. Now what this does is first block any shot from your opponent as you make the initial edit since you placed a floor beneath them, and second, because you followed that up by editing the floor and placing a ramp, you'll have the opportunity to take a free shot on them as well. From their perspective, they'll be waiting for the pre-fire, get straight up denied, and then have nowhere to build or to protect themselves once you pull off the entire move. One important thing to keep in mind though is that your opponent can phase through the floor you place at the beginning. This is not necessarily a bad thing as you can just box them in and destroy them that way, but it is something to be aware of in case they go full psychopath on you. All in all, I highly recommend learning the Kylix Classic. It's sleek, it's fast, and it actually works against good opponents, as evidenced by this clip of Kylix himself using it against Benji Fishy. The next trick is another box fighting technique called the Dumbledore, this time by the legend Ryu Zanami. When you want to use it is to counter the classic jump shot I showed way back in the day from Tfue. What you do is place a wall above the top of your opponent's 1x1, edit a door, open it, come around the right side, and then spray through the bottom of the door. This will allow you to replace the floor and give you a nasty right hand peek on your opponent who's trapped below. From their point of view, they won't be able to get an angle on you with the jump shot they are used to, and any shot they do take will get blocked by the door. Additionally, if you want to play it really safe, you can add another door edit on the right hand side you use to peek with. This will be even more annoying to the person inside and block them from trying to make a cheeky escape. By the way, this is very similar to the Speedy Gonzalez trick where you use a door edit to take the cone and floor of your opponent's box. The problem with Speedies though is your opponent can spray you through the wall and make you take unnecessary damage. With Ryu's trick, you have the option to duck back behind the other wall and keep yourself completely safe. So from now on, anytime you're approaching a turtling opponent, use the Dumbledore trick to catch them off guard and safely win the box fight. Third trick is yet another box fighting move that I learned from a competitive player named iRobus. Just like with the Kylix Classic, it's used when you're getting pressured inside your box by someone on a ramp. For this trick, however, you're going to back up to the wall behind you, place a ramp so you're facing through it, edit a window on the side your opponent is not standing by, and finally, while pointing your crosshair at the window, turbo build a cone. When you do it at normal speed, you'll be able to cone your opponent every single time while completely protected. This will then give you the opportunity to escape out of the top and get high ground, or if you want the kill, you can edit your ramp and go for a right hand peek since they are trapped in front of you. From their perspective, all they'll see is you make a window edit and have no time to prevent being coned. Even if they take the wall after you make the edit, that cone will already be placed and you'll have more than enough time to get up and out of the box they had trapped you in. So if you want a really safe way to escape awkward situations in box fights like this, use the iRobus Classic because it works every single time. Fourth up is a 200 IQ proximity mine trick to help all of you high ping players take walls. Now, unless you live under a rock, you should know what the new proximity mines do. Anytime your opponent walks near them, they get activated and do 50 damage to anyone in the blast radius. On top of that, they do 200 damage to structures, which is more than enough to destroy a wood base. The only time the proximity mines do not work, however, is when your opponent is behind a wall. So the trick is to throw a proximity mine on the side of your opponent's wall, break the wall to trigger the mine, and then replace the first wall you were in front of for an easy kill. The whole reason this works is because your opponent will be too busy turbo building the wall the proximity mine was in front of and won't even be looking at the wall you take. So as fun as it is to set up 30 proximity mines and hope your opponent runs through them, it's much more practical to utilize them in box fights to take walls like this. Halfway through, and our fifth trick is my favorite new edit peek in the game. Where it's most useful is when you're inside a 1x1 and your opponent has already replaced placed your cone. All you do is build a ramp in your box that you're not facing through, edit one of the back tiles of the floor that you're close to so it looks like this, and then jump up and shoot. This will give you a ridiculous little peek as you reach the highest point in your jump and leave you completely protected from your opponent. From their angle, all they'll see is the back piece of the floor get edited up and will have no idea how they took damage since they could barely see your head. So I'm not really sure who found this or popularized it, but here's Kylix once again using it to outplay Benji Fishy. For tricks number 6 and 7, we're gonna look at a bunch of different ways to utilize C4 that I again learned from Ryu Zanami. The first is to counter people running or tunneling away once they hear C4 on their base. What you do is throw the C4 from 26 meters away and detonate it right before it lands on their builds. This will destroy their base and give you the opportunity to get off a fat pump shot. From your opponent's perspective, they won't hear the C4 and will have literally no time to react to block the shot you get in. Also, if you're already too close and you don't want to back up, you can just look straight up from 10 meters away and you'll be able to do the same exact thing. Then the other C4 trick that is very similar to the RPG ones I've showed numerous times in the past is that you can either throw a C4 on a different side of the cone you're on and use it to get into your opponent's box, or you can use the C4 explosion to replace your opponent's cone and floor while turtling. So yes, most of the time it's probably easier to stack C4s on someone's base and kill them that way. These are just some useful techniques for when you only have a couple C4 left and you want some guaranteed damage. 8th trick is going to be a bunch of forgotten launchpad ones, since the launchpad is back in all game modes. Probably my favorite is this one where you don't even take out your glider but still get a low launch towards zone. To perform it, just put a wall behind your launchpad, then a ramp or edited cone above that, and attach a floor to the end of that. Once you jump on the launchpad, it will send you straight down while still being able to shoot and have your gun out. I recommend using this anytime you're in a high ground position and you want to get down to low ground for a kill, but you also don't want to hang in the air for 5 minutes like you would with a normal launch. Then the other launchpad trick I wanted to share is something you've probably seen from a ton of pros. The technique is to place a ramp over yourself and a launchpad directly beneath you. This will give you a really short and low launch that is perfect for endgame rotations. So anytime you need a low launch and don't want to go 50 feet into the air, pull out one of these to catch everyone else off guard. Second to last trick is a pretty unique box fighting technique that you can use to safely take walls. To set it up, you want to be on a floor next to the top of your opponent's box and edit the top right tile of it like this. Then jump up on the railing that appears and use the right hand peek you have to pressure your opponent's wall below. Not only can you steal their wall with it, but you can also edit and replace their cone or ramp as well, all while being completely protected from above. From your opponent's POV, they will barely be able to see you from inside their box, and if they dare edit out, they will only be able to see your feet. Lastly, when you're back above them, all you have to do to block their shot is reset the floor you are on. So I'm not sure who originally found this, but shout out to the OCE pro player Carrion for bringing it to my attention. The 10th and final trick isn't so much a trick as it is a challenge for all you guys watching. All my longtime viewers should know I randomly do challenges at the end of videos like these for money. This one is to use a proximity mine as Arab does here and stop your opponent from launch padding normally. However, in order to earn the $50 I'll put up for it, you have to kill the guy mid-air as he's low gliding because you countered his launch. So again, you gotta throw a proximity mine on top of your opponent as they jump on a launch pad, and then when they're low launching, you have to laser them and kill them in mid-air. The only rules and stipulations are that it has to be in a normal game, so not Team Rumble, it cannot be set up with your friend, and you have to send me a video of it on Twitter or Instagram. First one to do that will win the money and get a shout out in my next video. Oh, and also make sure you check my Instagram story as I will let you guys know whether someone has completed the challenge or not. My Instagram and Twitters are at itsjarian. Overall guys, those are 10 advanced tips and tricks I definitely recommend you master. A lot of them were actually found by you guys, so if you do have a trick you haven't seen before, let me know about it on Instagram or Twitter and I'll do my best to put it in a video. Just please do some research first and don't send me stuff I've already showed or that has been known in the community. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, then do be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on my post notifications. Shout out to everyone using code Jarian. I truly appreciate you guys a ton. Even if you don't use my code, I still love you. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.